after we go live. Yo, here's the deal. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend, because this is one of the most realist, raw, or organic, authentic conversations that you're ever going to see out here on the internet, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, that you're tapping into us. Because at the end of the day, people, yo, if you haven't opened the door in the past, I'm gonna let you know right now, real quick, what it is, and we're gonna get our special guest today introduced. So the We Outside Livecast started Discreet about a year ago, almost at this point. Just as a conversation, about a year, bro, and it literally just started organically, and it came from our love of hip hop culture. You being a producer, me being an artist, and just what hip hop has meant to us in our lives personally, and of course, very much as artists. We love the stories that hip hop tells. You know, if you really understand and know what hip hop is about, it's about overcoming. It's about working through the struggles. It's about telling stories. It's about a whole lot of shit. Like, we could have a show just on literally what hip hop history is, right? And we do that in bits and pieces on every show. And we're going to get real raw with it today. And ain't that the truth? And we are very, very honored and privileged today. When you talk about somebody, listen, Discreet, I'm going to say this right now. When you talk about somebody like Nary, our special guest today, Nary, DaProducer, tapping in from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania today. Exactly. When I like, listen, bro, like, for real, I'm gonna put it to y'all this way. Everybody listening, including Discreet Nary right now. If you looked up in the dictionary, right? You look up in a dictionary sometimes, like, you got pictures of a word, right? Or a picture to describe a word, at least old school. If you were ever to see a picture of the description of what hip hop is, you would see a picture of Nary. Like, straight up, because this dude, the soul he brings, the passion he brings, the true definition of what culture is in hip hop. I know for a fact from every production that Nary has ever been on, any placement he's ever had, any beat that he has shared on social media that I've been lucky enough to hear, bro, it is hip hop.
You're taking all the words out my mouth, Mike.
Like, my gosh. So listen, y'all are in for a special treat today. And before we let Nary, the producer, introduce himself in his own words, Discreet, we've known of this man. We've known of this man for a couple years now, bro. So I gave you a little take in my thoughts on Nary. I want to hear your thoughts on Nary, the producer, especially Discreet, coming from you, who's a producer as well.
Oh yeah,
let's talk about Discreet.
I'll give you the word that always comes to mind when I think of Nary, and that's unique. Like, he does things differently to the rest of what I hear in the underground, put it that way. Even I do things a little bit similar to everyone else, and, you know, it's one of them things where you think, oh man, I'm just sounding the same as everyone else. But you don't get that with Nary. Like, when I'm on Facebook and I hear Nary making a beat, it's just like, you just like, just beautiful. It's just beautiful. But yeah, that's what I've got to say about Nary. What's up, Nary?
Man, I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate the introduction and everything, man. It's like, you know, I come from a thing of music, you know. My pops was telling me yesterday, was like, man, when you was young, you know, we had the music always on for you. And we just always knew you was going to be a musical kid, you know, and turn into a musical adult. And, you know, I used to dance to the Jeffersons thing. You know, I'm from the 80s, early 80s, you know.
Yeah, same.
Man, it was just like, I came up on LL Cool J and Run DMC and watching Crush Groove and everything, man. Just,
Mama Said Knock You Out. That's one of my favorite albums from LL, bro.
Oh man, dope, man. Bad Boys, everything. You know, Run DMC, man. I just knew, like, you know, hearing them actually, you know, with the samples and everything. I knew it from there. I was like, this is hip hop. This is what I want to do, man.
Yeah.
And you know, growing up, we had records. We had the CDs and tapes yet until we got into the 90s. So, you know, the 80s more, it was just the records. I always was putting a record on, trying to scratch, you know, man, and I just knew it from there. Like,
oh man, that gives me memories. I remember being in one of my ex-girlfriend's bedrooms. Her brother's, in his room, and he had this single deck and we had this record that we love, and we'd be in there all day. Like, I wouldn't be spending no time with my girlfriend. I'd just be with her brother. We're just
Oh yeah.
scratching on this one turntable. I used to love
Yup. Yup.
it.
And I knew, like, because I used to, the record player has the settings. You could go from 78 to 45 to 33,
Yeah,
the RPM.
yeah,
I used to put it on 45 because it sounded like the Chipmunks. But
yeah, yeah.
Who would have known? That would have been the one of the staples of hip hop. That whole sound created a era, early
Yeah, it did.
2000s, all that. Yeah.
It
So
definitely
man,
did, man.
yes.
But it does.
I was just I
If
was
you
just
can get
thinking
the
like,
right
man, like,
sample,
yup,
if you can get the right sample, and like you say, you turn it up into that chipmunk voice. Sometimes it's fucking beautiful, man.
it is. It is. You just turn
Mm.
it up, and then now what I do, I won't have it so chipmunky. I'll just put like a little the pitch just right,
Yeah,
and
that's
man,
what I mean.
like
It's
make
so hard to do, isn't it?
yes. And then, when I
Mm.
get that dirty sound, man, I'll pitch it down just and muddy it up, man.
Isn't
Have
it?
I
That's
put some I usually, like, what I do. I'll put some electricity because I use older equipment, and I got the mixers where it be humming, and that's
yeah.
where I get the grit from it.
Same
And
here.
then
I like that sound. Sometimes I'll purposely find a sample of that grittiness, and I'll put
yes,
it in the track. So I love it.
oh
It
yeah,
gives you
man,
that feeling of being played on a record player, doesn't it?
yep, yep. And it's like, if you notice, like, I'm gonna give you a jewel, like, you put your drums in the mono, and you run just a little bit of that electricity on top of that drum. It's gonna give you
Yeah,
that thickness of the thing. It's gonna warm the beat right up. It don't matter if
yeah,
you're using
yeah.
a DAW or anything, because I go back and forth with DAWs and machines and everything. I can make a beat on anything.
I know this is what I mean with you as well, Nary. I know you can use anything. With
Yes.
me, I've got my one software that I'm just so glued to. It's LMS. I've tried other things, right, and I just
Yeah.
can't. I can't get on with them. If you know what I mean. It's like, nah,
Yeah.
I need my LMS, man.
Oh yeah.
But you, this is what I mean. This is what makes you so fucking brilliant, man. You can just jump on anything and make classics.
That's because it's like, once you learn the technicalities of everything, if you gotta make the beat. Once you get all that down, that's it.
Yeah,
And that's how I approach it. Like, I learn it in and out, and then I say I put everything I know from producing and just put it into anything.
and
So
it's passion as well, isn't it? It's having the
yeah,
passion,
yeah. It's like
definitely.
I always had the love for it first, and that's what I tell people getting into this. Like, this was not no overnight thing.
No,
I've been doing this since I was 19 years old. I'm 40 now.
yeah,
I've been independent that long.
I've been doing it for about 8 years now, and there's still so much I need to learn. So
Yeah,
much. You never stop learning with this shit. I find
you
you
never,
never stop learning.
you're never gonna fully know everything about this, because
No.
as time goes on, different techniques. Maybe if you update your DAW or your equipment, there's gonna be new features on there. Some might help you, some
Music
might
in
hinder you.
general, music in general will change. Hip
Yes.
hop sounds.
And see, like with me, I like to keep my equipment older because I don't like all those features and everything because they get in the way. And
Yeah,
I don't and if you know what you're doing with producing, you don't need any of that. Just like they have
no,
the what is that where the it get the stems where it
yeah, the
separates all
sounds,
that.
yeah,
That if if you really know, if you pull the wire, the cord out the thing, that was the first stems.
yeah,
You would hear,
yeah,
you know how it would be like, it'll filter everything. Like, you could hear, like, where it's just playing the drums, and then you
yeah,
pull it out a little more, it'll be playing the vocals. That's basically it. That's how they done it. But with AI and everything, they kind of cleaned it up more.
yeah, exactly. But
Yep.
yeah, it's like I know some people who they don't even want the stems. They're just like the track sounds good. All I need is the track, and it's
Yep.
like it makes you feel good. You feel like, well, at least I know it sounds good. Because if they're
Yeah.
not asking for the stems, it's like, well, I've done something right. If they don't want the stems, it must sound fucking brilliant.
Well, I want to touch on something real quick that Nary said as well, and I want to get both your thoughts, Nary. I'm going to ask you your thoughts first, and then
Cool.
discreet. I want your thoughts, but you said something about the producer like using old equipment. If you know your shit enough, right? Like you're going to be good, right? And it really hits me in the standpoint as an artist as well when you're finding the proper producer or the proper engineer, right? Like one thing that a lot of people say, and I definitely want both of your thoughts on this, is like, going as a recording artist, right? Yeah, it's dope sometimes to go into, this big, lavish, professional studio, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't always mean that you're going to get the best quality work, right? Because yes,
It looks
a piece of it is the equipment that you're using. But listen, if you don't have the proper engineer behind that equipment that you're using, I don't care how good it is, bro. If they don't know what the fuck they're doing, you're not going to get the best quality out of that. Is that something that you guys ultimately feel as producers as well, from the respect that, like, listen, I'm sure that in a perfect world, like if you could spend any amount of money just to be like, yo, I just want this equipment and I want to just work with this, right?
Yeah.
But from your perspectives, how much really does, I mean, obviously you got to have a good quality of equipment itself in general, right? But how important really is it to the production, as long as you as the beat maker or you as the producer know what the fuck you're doing and really know the intricacies that you were talking about earlier, Nary? I'd definitely be curious to hear your thoughts on that.
You should, I feel like where we're headed in, I would say, good and bad, because everything is about a look instead of the actuality of things. Like, so I got this big studio. I want to put it on my social media page, but when you come in there, nobody knows what they're doing, and it sounds like complete shit. Madness. You can go to somebody that doesn't have that much equipment and get the most beautiful, cleanest mix ever. Have you sounding like a superstore? Yeah. Everything like now is just like it's the look of it. It's the look. You don't need if that's the case, that's cool. And then another thing about that is we're going to the studio. Everything's digital now. Remember when I was coming up, everything was on the tapes. It was the mixing board, and Pro Tools and the Logic was still in its infancy. So it was like, I feel like if you listen, the older music's gonna always have the love for it, because it was actual humans doing everything, slicing the tapes, all that, and it's always gonna have that feel. If you put it in your car, you can hear the older songs in today's songs. You can hear it like today's songs are real, like they're digital sounding, robotic. You gotta really, you gotta turn one song up, then turn songs down. They're not getting it mastered no more. Actually mastered. Yeah, not running it through Lander or anything like that. It has to go into a machine, in the tapes and everything. Nope, they're not really doing that no more.
I've got Lander.
And Lander's dope, don't get me wrong, but it's like, man, when you actually had the good engineers back in the day, like Doro, you had Guru. Earth Gotti, God rest his soul. You had the real engineers, man.
Yeah.
And that's why that sound is always going to be it. You feel that. You hear an old DMX song, you feel that. You hear old Rough Riders, the Locks. That my favorite album, We Are the Streets. Beautifully mixed album.
Yeah.
You can hear it. You can hear the MPC and the SB12s they were using back then. You could just hear everything. It just rides and it goes. Well,
it does. It's all about who's doing it. It's not like how fancy the room is. It's not. You could just, like you say, you could put Guru in a little room like I'm in now. Give him the right equipment. He doesn't have to be at Universal Studios. Just put him in my daughter's bedroom with the right equipment, and he'll probably do the same shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, it's very true. On that note as well, I got another question for both of you guys as producers.
Yes, sir.
And it was funny because I was talking to somebody that we all know collectively. I was talking to the brother Doe Fresh the Don the other day.
Oh,
And
man. Brother right there.
Yeah.
we were talking
Shout
about
out
something
Forever
very
Fresh.
yo, man, for real, throw them fours up. Forever Fresh, always salute
Fresh.
to y'all
What
out
up?
there.
What up, Doe the Dawn? Shout out to Illness. You know, I know it's still early over
Big
there.
shout
Yes. Illness, man. Yes.
Definitely. So
Special dude. But we were Doe and I were talking about the difference between, and Discreet, something you and I have touched on a little bit as well. There's a difference between a beat maker and a producer. All right. And everybody, has their own understandings of that, especially depending how deep you are into music in general and understanding of production and beat making and all that. Nary, I'm asking you first. What's your definition of the difference between somebody who makes beats and somebody who can produce?
To me, I would say a producer is the one. He's the engineer. He's like the quarterback. He puts everything together. He put the beat maker. He puts the engineers over here. It's just the whole complete process of the record. That's the producer. Make sure the songwriters are writing the songs. Just everything. Now, me, I would say I'm more of the beat maker in general, but the producer side of me, because I make sure when I get my artists and the artists I work with, I make sure I get everything engineered for them. Everything, all the songs are written. The beats, you make sure the business is right with the beats. Make sure if the mixes is right. Make sure if something don't sound right, that then that you gotta tell them like, no, that's not it. Even if I don't make the beat, I still make sure everything comes together.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
That's what I always emphasize with people. When I send someone something, I tell them, don't just flick through it, listen to it. I want you to listen to it a few times. And if there's anything you want me to change, tell me. And like some people, a lot of the time, it's like, no, everything's cool. And I listen back to it and I'm doubting myself, thinking, I don't know, could that be a little better? Could this be a little better? But if the artist who's using it is happy, it's like, well, why fuck about with it if they're happy? But I doubt myself sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And then I got a follow-up question to that as well, Nary. With you as a beat maker and kind of that producer side, when you're working with an artist, when an artist has your beat, right? Because at the end of the day, if something's going to like go out into the world, especially, the streaming world, that's your name, right? That's your reputation when you put a beat out, right? So my question to you is, to what extent, if any, and obviously it could vary from artist to artist, right? Discreet, because we asked this question to Jay Peasy last summer when we had him on. To what extent, as a producer, are you like, actually producing somebody? Like Jay Peasy, it's different. Jay Peasy's going to take a different approach when he's working on the 5816 Forest Ave album with Tech Nine than maybe he is with me, right? Because Tech Nine's been doing this for 35 years. I've been really doing this like for 3 or 4 years right now. So a little bit of a difference right there in retrospect. But to what extent do you like having any involvement with the artist that you're working with, Nary, as far as getting a beat to? And what's that process just kind of like in general when you're trying to work through that type of scenario or situation with an artist on your beat? Because I would assume, right, you want to make sure that you're getting, you want to make sure that your beat is represented the best way possible. But I'm sure, I mean, any opportunity that we put out there as an artist, we want something to hit, right? It's like our version of something going viral. You want to make, and I think it's fair to say, you want the artist to come out as best they could on your beat, right? So what's that process looking like for you as you're working through an artist on a track?
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm there. I'm coaching. I needed that. Even like if I don't record it, what studio are you going to? Let me hear the rough draft. If you don't get it, if you can't get it mixed, then send me the files over. I'll mix it. Even if I sold you the beat, I'm still gonna go with you the whole process, because, like you said, my brand's on there, my name, and these are my babies coming out of here.
Exactly.
I chopped you that sample up. I went to that flea market and dug in them crates. and with my hands, spiders, smacking spiders away and everything. You know,
Exactly.
the dust. Yes, I was there from the baby, everything.
That's where you
I
find
need
the
expressive
diamonds,
dust.
isn't it? That's where you
Yes,
find the diamonds amongst them spiders.
exactly. The best ones. But just to go to say like I'm there for the whole record. Anything you need me to turn something up, turn something down. If you need a line like, well, Nary, should I approach the beat like this, or should I approach it
Mm,
another way? Like I'm there with my records.
isn't it? I like it.
I
Very
appreciate that because that's
thorough.
Definitely.
that's
Mm,
different. That's what separates, people who are just in it for the money, right?
Yeah.
Let's be real. And don't get me wrong,
exactly.
man. We gotta make money to survive. And if anybody's out there, and there's people out there obviously in this world that are able to do what they love day in and day out, and they can make a living off of it, right? Uh, but there's also a difference, of somebody doing it just for the money versus doing it for the love and the passion of
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
of what now, right? And I think we very much live in a day and age, and we're all about the same age, right? So I think
Yes.
with an appreciation for what I'm about to say, like quality these days is not necessarily on the top of every priority list for people who are providing a service, right? And as beat
Yes.
Exactly.
makers, as producers, that's what you're doing. You're providing a service to an artist. Hey, Nary, discreet. I got this project coming
Music
up. I need a beat. You're providing me
music
a
is
service.
so strange. I mean, I
Yep.
could make a beat. I have made a beat that I thought was absolutely shit. It was one of the first beats I ever made, so there was a lot of clicking in it.
Yeah.
When I was going from one sound to another, you could hear the do you know what I mean? You could hear all the fucking things where it just wasn't clean. And
Oh man.
I've I've had people rap to it. They thought it was brilliant, but if do you know what I mean? If it's going into someone else's ears and they like it, how can you argue it? Do you know what I
Nope.
mean? Even though I
Yes.
thought, oh, that don't sound good, someone else is saying it sounds good. You can't deny someone else's ears. If they like it, they like it. Do you know what I mean? But it's music, such a strange thing. And what I'm trying to say is basically, you can make anything, and like, it doesn't necessarily have to be the best quality. Someone might like it. It's such a
Yes.
strange thing, music. And then you can make the best, what you think is the best beat in the world. It's like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever made. And then like, no one really elevates to it. And you're like, what the fuck's going on here? That's the best shit I've ever done. It's strange, man.
That same exact thing happened to me. Like there's sometimes
Yeah.
like in the area I'm in Pittsburgh, and I tried to experiment with the music that they're doing now, that the trap and everything. I
Yeah.
played this beat. I thought it was the most garbage I ever heard. That
Yeah.
was the first beat that got picked and everything. I'm like, what? Come on,
What?
that? Like that's man. They made the song and everything, man. I heard I did heard the beat 100 times because everybody's writing, and I'm like, oh, this is
I tell you
crazy.
what, I just thinking now, right, and it still mystifies me. That J.
Yeah.
Cole shit, that grippy track. Remember that
Oh
grippy
man.
track? What the fuck was that all about? That still confuses the fuck out of me.
Well,
Like, what the fuck was that?
it's crazy though, right? Like since we're on this
Yeah,
topic, like how as artists you put something out and like how's it gonna be interpreted by other people, right?
yeah,
Because when
Yeah.
when we're putting something together in our minds, right? Like we have this vision going on in our mind. When it now is, Nary, as you put it, our baby is born into the world once we
yeah,
go through the production of excuse me, in your case, your case is respectively, with a beat, or when I get through a mix and a master of my track and I'm like, okay, cool. But now it's like, all right, cool. I'm good with this, or I'm not good with this. This isn't
mm,
exactly maybe how I interpreted it, but yeah, I'm
Mhm.
gonna put it out one way or the other. I'm just gonna ship it and see what people think. Whether you're
yeah.
doing it, just on a YouTube release, or you're putting it out to the Spotify and Apple to iTunes world and all that shit. It's
Right.
funny, because there's some things that I've put out, in the past where I'm like, this is all right, I'm cool with it. But some people are like, yo, this is just like y'all said, this is ridiculous. So it's funny the interpretation that people take of your art, right?
Mm,
It's
Yeah.
because you really never know. And I think that's the beautiful thing as an artist, right? Like, when is it completed, right? And like, are you happy with it? Are you happy with just it being completed because it was a challenging project? Are you happy just because you got something new to ship? Like, it leads to the question, what's ultimately your goal with any project that somebody puts out, right?
You reminded me of something then. It's like I've just got back into making beats. I went about 3-4 months without making them. I made a mistake. I'm back on it now. But one thing I used to do that used to get on my nerves, I would start making something and then get a little bit stuck with it. And, I might have a sound that, I don't know whether I should. I'm in an ahhing. I would move on to the next thing, start making a beat. And sometimes I would have a little stockpile of 10 beats that are not complete or I don't know which way to go with. And then sometimes I'd forget about them. But now I've got this mindset where once I start a track, I am not moving on to anything else until I'm happy, complete and happy with what I'm doing. Because I don't like doing that.
And Rob, like, like if you ever get like a block, sometimes what I'll do is it's good to take those breaks. You don't need to just keep on working because
you drive yourself insane.
I feel like when you start things get redundant or something, or you're just tired of the way that you're approaching things. I found like with me, I'll go and start doing research like on different sounds, and I'll do a lot of reading on the internet and books and everything. Sometimes, and I'll be like, okay, I could do this with the keyboard. I could hook this up a certain way, But sitting there and actually keeping on making beats and that's making you better, you don't always have to do that.
Yeah.
Give your mind time. Go outside, leave the studio, do other things sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you either got it or you don't.
Yeah. It's true. Sometimes you just got to walk away, get a breath of fresh air, and come back to it.
Exactly. You just don't need to do it all the time, man. It's just, no.
You're just banging your head against the wall if you keep trying the same thing and it's not working.
Yep.
Well, they do say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result.
It is.
You do. I think you got to break away because
doing that in certain little situations, and I look at them and I think that's actually insanity what you're doing. Just stupid little things.
It's just like the guys that they solely use FL Studio. They'll sit here and make 100 beats of the same sounding thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like you keep on doing it. Like you don't have to sit and make 100 beats a day. It's only going for somebody to pick that one.
Exactly.
It's going to be that one 100 beats a day, and then and half the time 98% of them are trash.
Yeah.
It's like that. Come on.
I used to rush my beats, but now I prefer it to like take my time on just one beat. The last few beats I've made, I've probably took like literally all day to make one beat. But I prefer it that way because it's like you're being more meticulous. You're making sure you're not just rushing it. Like I've seen these videos on YouTube, right? I've not seen them for a while, but a while ago they were coming through my feed, right? This guy, this kid, he's about like, I don't know, 21 at the most, right? And he makes beats in like less than 40 seconds. Like they're fucking banging beats, but he's not being creative. He's just like, and there's a ticker in the top corner, and he's like trying to beat his record time and shit. And it's like, okay, it's a good beat, but you're just making a beat. You're not really being creative, are you? Just to try and bang one out in under 40 seconds. That's not really what a rapper might be wanting you to do.
but discreet to that point, playing devil's advocate, what is Homeboy's goal? What is the person's goal of making that beat? And to that point,
I do think maybe that's his thing. He likes making beats in under a minute. That's his niche.
Well, it might be that. It might be in his instance, it might be about the quantity, because if his sole goal is to go viral or get placements or send off a bunch of beats to a particular artist, for example, like
Mhm.
his goal might be, I just need to have a lot of somebody. And I'll give you for example, after I say this, I might just need literally a bucket of fucking beats that somebody needs to listen to hopefully pick one. Because when I was in the studio with X-Rated back in November, X-Rated was telling a story to Matt Phoenix, and he's like, I ended up getting, the beat that he was working on, he was like, I picked this one beat. And I don't know if he was exaggerating or not, but I knew he picked him out of a lot of beats. But he was like, this one producer sent me over 500 beats, and I picked one, maybe two of those motherfuckers. So like, you got to think about it from this perspective. Again, what is the goal? Like if that producer, let's just say, for example, that producer, this is the first time that they get an opportunity for placement as much as possible, right? And you're fucking with somebody like X-Rated, right? Like if you had a conversation with your client, in this case the client's X-Rated, right? But if the client tells you, I'll listen to 500 beats if you send me 500 beats, well, shit, like as a producer, I'm gonna send 500 fucking beats, because that means I've got 500 chances that he's gonna pick at least one. And maybe that's my goal. I'm not looking for him to like all 500. That's ridiculous. He ain't gonna put 500 tracks out of mine, right? All I want potentially in that scenario is him to pick one. And if that means I gotta send 500 or make 500, well, then maybe I gotta make 500 40-second fucking tracks. Because look at it from this perspective, right? For anybody that's an up and coming artist, right?
Yeah.
JPZ told me this too. Like, as an artist, as a producer, all you need is that one placement that puts you on, right? And like, once you're at a point where you're on, and like my definition of being on for me as myself as an individual, I want to be able to just do music and just know that I can get paid off of it. I can live a comfortable enough life off of it, right? Meaning food at my family's table that I never got to worry about. Making sure that month in, month out, I'm going to have a roof over the head. And if I could take maybe like a vacation or two a year, I'm cool with that. That's my version of being on from being able to do music. Like, I just know I could just do nothing but make music. And the other shit that I'm going to do, and my life is going to be good, right? And if that means I gotta make 500 songs to do that, to get me that one that puts me on, at that point, JPZ told me, you can rap about or speak about whatever the fuck you want, but in order to get there, you got to make sure that you have that following. And in some cases, the following comes with going viral or getting on, whatever that definition is, right? Like, is that something that, what are your thoughts on kind of that tangent I just went off from a quantity standpoint from what you were talking about, Discreet? Nary, I'm gonna let you talk about that first, and then Discreet, respectfully, I want your rebuttal to what I said to you as well. Just Nary, go ahead, bro.
I mean, it just depends on, who's going to sit there and listen to that many beats. Like, who's going to have that time? Because if you 500 beats, man, it's like
that's a lot of minutes.
And the first 5 don't catch their ear, it's over with.
That's potentially 1,500 minutes. Potentially.
You have the attention span is too short now. So if you send somebody that many beats, come on, and especially if your first, like I said, maybe I won't say 5, maybe your first 1 or 2 or 3, they're not good. They're not going to keep listening anymore. So
it's that like, first 2 seconds as well, isn't it?
Yes, and that's why I just feel like, to work on the quality of the beats, work on the quality of things, you have a better chance. Now, you can shotgun it and throw those out, but I mean, and like, I feel like, as far as, like you were saying, about the making the living and everything, like, I mean, it's a disappointment, man. It's a lot of disappointing times where you're trying to do this as a living, and working on the quality thing and working on having the love is where it's at first. Once you get those out the way, you'll have that perspective, and you'll have you'll be ready to go there with that.
Exactly.
No, I can appreciate that. I'll go ahead and scream, because I definitely want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I've just had a sudden thought about I think Nary's got some exclusives for us today, hasn't he? I
Oh,
reckon we should listen to some of them soon.
we're gonna get there.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna get there
Yeah.
for sure, bro. We're definitely gonna get there for sure. But yeah, it's, I want to, you know, one of the last. I know you're excited. You're like a fucking kid on
I am.
Christmas right now, Discreet, and I'm not gonna
I just
lie.
remembered it.
So am I. So am I. But
Excuse
no,
me.
no, you're good. I think that's important what Nary said though, right? Like, and it does. It touched to that main part of the conversation. What's the goal, right? And I
Yeah.
think
You
you
see,
know,
with me, it's like sometimes I wonder if I just love this shit too much because, you know, getting a viral moment and all that, I'm not so like it. I don't get so excited about it. The thing that excites me is just making a beat, and then like for the likes of you or Illness or Hectic or just some awesome fucking artist to get on it. Then I hear
Yes.
it, and it's just what I imagined, and it almost that's like the goal for me. And I've not made £1 million. I've not got 1 million followers out of it, but I'm happy. So you know, sometimes I think, is my love for hip hop like stopping, like holding me back from like making some real money? Because making real money out of it ain't. I just love it so much. It's just not the end goal for me. I just want to see smiling faces through
Well,
my music.
you
Do you
know
know what I
what I
mean?
would say? Now, everybody wants to go viral, but today's fans are not as loyal as
No,
we are. You know, we're
exactly.
fans for life.
Yes.
I listen to the Rakim, whatever he drops. I don't care. I listen to it. I've been a fan of
Mm.
Rakim since I was about 5, 6, 7 years old. You know,
I was listening to Tupacalypse Now the other day, just reminiscing on that. Do you know what I
it's
mean? I love that album.
it's that, and you see, like we're loyal fans.
Yeah.
yep.
So I feel like, you know, the viral moment is cool because you know, that's a lot of money and everything. But
Oh yeah.
after that 15 minutes is over, they're on to the next thing.
Very
And if
true.
you build a lifestyle off of that viral moment, you're gonna go back to square one again.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like with being independent, feed your core fans, your loyal fans.
Mm.
That's what I do. Like my base is my fan
Yeah.
base. I be having people, and some people in my city, they be saying, well, you know, if you do the trap, you know, you'll blow up, you'll do this and that. But
I
the
can't
trap music
imagine
is
Nary
so,
making a trap beat. I can't
yeah,
imagine.
man, I got a couple of them, man, and you
Yeah.
know, but it's not me. It's not for me. Like I just do it
No.
to just, you know, because I have younger cousins and everything, and they like it. So okay, I'll try to make one, and then
Yeah,
they
I've
love
done
it.
that before.
Yeah.
R&B. I've been challenged to make R&B before. I don't really like it, but I have made a couple tracks.
Oh man, I made one that's like really doing, like it's going crazy right now, and I
Yeah.
I just played the keyboard on it. I played my
No way.
I have a Alesis synthesizer that I use,
No
and I
way.
just use that and
R&B from the 90s is fucking awesome, but today's
yes.
R&B, it's
Oh
just not the
man,
same. It's not
the
the same, I
content,
don't think.
the content, everything. It sounds like a rap song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Mm.
Yes.
you can't enjoy it on a Sunday. You know, we go when we're cleaning up the house, or we, you know, we're outside. You might be outside working on the car, cooking on the grill. What are you listening to? You listening to the good stuff, the oldies, the
Yep.
feel good.
Exactly. TLC and all that sort of shit. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the content
That
that
sound.
you could let the kids be out there. You don't got to turn something off and everything, or
Yep.
turn it down. You know, you could just play a whole playlist of it, and everybody's having a good time. You
Yeah,
know.
you don't got
Exactly.
to play the clean radio edit on your Pandora or your Spotify channel. Yep.
Yeah.
Yup.
But I
Yup.
think, well, and it's important. I think something that you said though, Nary, in that breakdown as well, like from the standpoint of, you know, when you were talking about like Rakim, and then, you know, Discreet, you had mentioned listening to Tupac
Mhm.
clips. Now, like the fan loyalty, right? I
Yeah.
think
Yes.
once you find out what your sound is as an artist,
Yup.
and mentioning like in a Rakim or something like that, Discreet and I talk about this regularly, right? Like, you know, from that golden era, you had
Yes.
a sound, like you heard
Yup.
somebody, you knew who it was. Like in the
Mm.
last 10 to 15 years specifically, everybody just sounds the same, right? Everybody just wants to sound the same because they want that viral moment.
Yup.
But
Yeah.
there's a difference between that 15 minutes of fame and building a loyal fan base like a Rakim, like a Tupac, like all of the, what people consider OG artists today who are out there actually selling out tours, right?
Yeah.
Versus people who are newer to the industry that are just sounding like somebody else, that they're having to not do their concerts because they're not selling a lot of tickets. They're not selling enough to even turn the lights on for the concert. And let's be real, that's exactly why concerts end up getting, well, there's two main reasons. Number one, that artist image, you don't want to take a hit showing up to a 10,000 seat arena when you only sold 2,500 tickets, right?
Yeah.
So there's a hit to the image or the brand, or maybe the artist is just a little bitch and thinks that they're bigger than them 2,500 fans. But to the point that you made, Nary, like that's how you build loyalty, bro. You got to go out to those. You got to go out to those places where you got 15 people showing up and there ain't no bathroom in the joint, but the fans are there to see you. You know what I mean? That's how you build. You got to build your 1,000 fans, right? And that's the difference, in my opinion. And we talk about this regularly, between the old school and what's been happening in the last 10 to 15 years, because the fan loyalty, to the point that you made earlier, Nary, is so different when we grew up, right? As those teenage years and through the 90s into the early 2000s, I think is fair. Maybe like 2005, give or take, as like a cutoff, right? Versus what fans are today. And it's different. The dopamine effect, minute or less, like we were talking on social media, like it's so different. Fans of artists today versus fans of artists yesterday.
I'll quickly give you a memory that's just saying that. You're talking about the late 90s, 2000s. I just took myself back to the moment where I bought Exhibit's Restless album. Do you remember Exhibit's Restless?
Oh, man.
Like, I remember, I was so anticipating that, and I remember holding it in my hands and just staring at the cover and being so, tearing off that, oh man, I wish I could go back to them days. But that was just one of them. I had that moment with a lot of albums, but holding that physical album in your hand and going through the booklet, but Exhibit's Restless is just one that comes to mind. That just brings back memories, that does. But yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. But do you agree with that statement, Nary? Like, as far as what you were talking about, my kind of just breakdown for the loyalty of yesteryear, if you will, versus the loyalty of today and fans that artists get today.
Man, it seemed like today only people you could put out the best music. Everybody is wants the viral moment and the reality show thing. Everybody wants to know your business, but don't want to know your artistry. And
exactly.
It's people judge. Oh, I'm not listening to him. He's broke. I don't want to be no fan of him. I like him. He flashes the money. He flashes the drugs and the guns on the internet. He's good. I love him. I'm gonna do everything. But it's like we are fans. We write on magazines and word ups and everything. We used to take the posters and put them on the walls. Man,
exactly.
Go to man, every Tuesday or every Wednesday or Thursday, a new album will come out. You got to stand in line to get it.
The Source magazines going up. I remember the day of the month, waiting for that day of the month to go get the latest hip hop magazine from my news agents. I can't even remember which one it was now, but there was one that came out once a month. And when that day got closer, me and my friend who were really showing each other new artists, and that's where a lot of the artists I love today came from. This guy I used to hang with at the time, and I would show him artists, but there'd be a point where we'd be chilling, smoking, listening to music, and be like, whoa, 4 days the Source comes out, and just shit like that. It don't happen no more.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the fan thing. We were loyal to that, to our magazines, to our music. We were bad. We would take our last couple dollars and bag. These fans, they don't want to buy anything. They want to download it off YouTube, or they want, they don't want to buy.
I've taken my CD player, my personal, your little personal CD player with the Walkman. I remember taking it to a town where I was going to get some new CDs, and I would take my CD player so I could listen to it straight away on the bus home. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't wait to get home. I would take my CD player with me. But yeah, that's
Well,
another
it was,
memory.
and it's crazy because to Nary's point, I'm gonna tell you right now,
Yeah.
bro. Like, if I didn't have money for that new single that dropped on a Friday, yo, we would get out of high school. These are and shout out to Mike Spinelli that I went to high school with. Mike Spinelli
yeah.
always gave us the 5-finger discount because it was when
Yeah.
you could still walk into FYE and they had the single tapes in the little cardboard box with the plastic. There was no things on them, and there
No
got to be a
way.
point where there were. But Mike Spinelli, yo, you drop them 50 cents as opposed to the $2 or $3 that you had to pay for that single. Mike
Yeah.
Spinelli was making some money on them half days back in high school days, bro.
No way.
But it's
And
so true because
that's what I'm saying. Like that was the loyalty to our favorite artists. We was willing to take a charge to get the album.
Yeah.
You know, like
You know,
or just making sure
sometimes it was like a day's, we'd plan a day around that, oh, fucking Jay-Z's new album's coming out, right, I've got to get up at such and such a time, I want to be at the store for this time, do you know what I mean?
oh man. It's like, man, like today it's crazy. Like, he don't got the views, he don't got the likes. Oh, his music's not good.
Literally
He
today,
don't have the money. He
you don't have to
don't
get out
have the
of bed.
fan base. Yeah.
Like today, if some Eminem drops an album tomorrow, I haven't even got to get out of bed to listen to that.
Yeah.
I just grab my phone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Because it's like, okay, if your phone, if you break your phone or if you break your whatever you have your music on, you no longer have the music anymore.
Exactly. Oh, bro, like, I don't know if anyone's ever had it. I mean, if I misplace my phone, I normally know where it's going to be. But if you go to that place, you can't find your phone, that panic that sets in. Because it's not just your music. A lot of your life is stored in that phone. The amount of passwords I've got in my phone, man, I wouldn't know the password to anything. Well, you obviously just reset your password, but there's so much information in our phones. If I ever think, shit, I don't know where my phone is, that panic that sets in, it's like, oh fuck, where's my phone gone? It's crazy.
It is. It's so true, and I think to that point, you see artists out there with the loyalty of the fans that they have that we've been talking about for the last few minutes here. You see some artists going back to hard copies, right? Hard copy CDs, hard copy tapes in some cases. And it was funny, discreet. I was talking with Max 17 the other day. Shout out to Max 17 from Sacramento, was a guest of ours a couple months ago. And I had heard about this, but he had forwarded me this new Tune FM thing. I know Snoop Dogg, it's like a crypto kind of website, right? Where you can like somehow put your music together with like crypto and yada, but it's different than like your typical streaming that is like Spotify and iTunes, right? And we were talking about this because I know Lil Six, shout out to Lil Six, another artist from Sacramento that is a family member of ours here on the We Hustle Livecast. They're going out and they're doing the old school shit, like going to pop-up shows or walking into a bodega and selling hard copies or going to just something where they can set up a table, right? And put some of their merch out there, put their hard copy CDs out there, put their hard copy tapes, because to what Nary was talking about, people that are really going to be down for you, those are people that are going to spend money on you, not just stream your shit, which is always appreciated to get your music out there. But if you're looking to make some money or make a living off of yourself as an artist, well, you got to sell shit. Like you got to put some merch out there, whether it's a t-shirt, a hoodie, a hat, a hard copy of something. And I think that's a lost art, but also I think that's something coming back, because from the business perspective of the music industry, like business is business. I don't care what industry, there are trends in business. There are trends in every business. And I think we're starting to see a trend of that type of artist come back, where you're going to see on a more regular basis. Like, let's be real. It ain't going to be what it was during that golden era, right? We're not going back to Tower Records anymore. We're not going to FYE anymore to pick up the latest CD, right? But I think we're going to start to see a bigger trend of artists coming out with their own website where you can actually go and purchase their music as a hard copy. Or I know Richie Rich did this with Richie Rich's last album that he had put out, Richard. before he put it out to the streaming world, he had it on his R Worldwide website where you can go and purchase it for up to like 6 weeks before it was actually available on Apple iTunes or Spotify or whatever. And you can actually go download it. And it was dope because he put up there, pay what you want. Pay what you want for this project. And then you pay what you want and you can download all of them. So now it is on your computer. And the beautiful thing about that, one, in some cases, you're probably paying less than what you're going to pay on a Spotify for that project. Yeah. Right. But also, the majority of that money is going directly to that artist because you're cutting out the middlemen like a Spotify, like an iTunes, like a YouTube, or whoever the fuck is out here streaming music. You know what I mean? And I think we're going to start to see a trend of that. I don't know if that's something that y'all have been seeing, but even if you haven't, I'm just curious if that's something that you would maybe even want to see, even if you're not familiar with that. And I'll ask that question to anybody watching it right now too. Discreet. I'm gonna let you answer that real quick first, and then Nary, I want you to answer and or give your thoughts on that as well.
I'll just quickly say I've heard about that loads. I've heard of loads of artists wanting to like get their music on CD again and release hard copies. Yeah, it's definitely not the first time I've heard that.
Me, I've heard a little bit about it, but there's actually a good site if you want to sell everything physically and you got the fan base, the Bandcamp.
Yep.
Yeah. Bandcamp is a very good thing. Once you have a loyal fan base, you got merchandise and everything on there.
But it is like you say, you got to have a big following to get that going. Definitely.
Yes. Once because we gotta be honest. Those streams they're not that great, man. You're getting like a half a penny. What is a half of a penny?
Yeah, I thought it was
crazy.
In England, I think it's 0.3 of a penny. That's less than half. Yeah. I think Snoop Dogg got 1 billion streams. We've all heard this story, I think.
Yep.
He asked his manager to look to see what that totaled to. 1 billion streams on Spotify. 49K. That's it.
That's wild.
1 billion. Not 1 million, 1 billion. 49 grand. That's nothing for 1 billion. What the fuck? 1 billion people have listened to my music and you're going to give me 50 grand. What?
The joke.
That's bad. It's not just us, that's Snoop saying that's what the check was for. A big star, like the most famous rapper in the world. And he's getting 49 grand for 1 billion streams. That's crazy.
I tell you something. If they bring it back where it's physical copies again, there's not going to be too many artists around.
No.
Now you got to really now you got to show and prove that. Unless the labels, that they're going to have to buy everything and give them out. But you're not going to move that music. It's going to show who's who.
Yep.
Exactly. That is so true, Nary.
It's like the modern day version of selling your CD out the trunk, like back in the day. That's essentially what it is. It's just it's a different way to get your product out there, and I think that's lost on a lot of artists, especially new and up and coming artists who are trying to make it. Don't have necessarily direct guidance, or even if they do, like, it's a business. Like, yes, there's an art part to it, but there's the business side to it as well. If you're trying to make some music, if you're trying to make an actual career at it, well, you got to put some marketing behind that. You got to actually run it like a business because, again, you might have that one viral moment if you're lucky enough, but two things there. One, that doesn't happen to everybody. And number two, what the fuck are you going to do to back up that viral moment if you don't got shit in the bag ready to go? And even if that's the case, it doesn't mean it's going to hit.
They always say, right, we've all heard this phrase before, it's all good getting to the top, but the hard part is staying there. And that goes for everything, being a sports star, being a music producer or rapper. Oh, we've lost Nary in a minute.
That's right. We'll get Nary back. Don't worry.
Whether you're a sports star, whether you're a painter, whatever it would be, if you become the best at it, it's harder to stay the best, I think.
Well, it is.
Because then you've got to whatever you've done to get to the top, you've now got to maintain
No,
that.
correct. Well, and think about
You
it.
can't just, I got there
Well,
now.
think about it too.
Because you'll probably fall off quicker than what you got to the top if you just drop everything.
Well, and think about it from this way too, Discreet. You know, having that viral moment, all you're doing is winning the lotto. We talked about this. We talked about this recently. Like, you're lucky to hit the lotto ever once, let alone hit it twice or 3 or 4 times. That's just no.
Exactly.
That shit just ain't.
This is quite trippy. This mirror. You know, we're two different places, but it looks a little bit like we're in the same room.
Yes,
do you see what I'm saying?
That is actually kind of funny. We got a very similar paint palette going on in our rooms. Our rooms here. But nah, man, I think that's a very valid point. Like, just the business aspect of it. Like, people, you need, like, even if you're not going to run your own business behind the music, yo, man, you gotta know somebody that does. And in the worst case scenario, even if you're not running it and you have a part of your team running that for you, you have to know at least enough. You've got to get your knowledge up, because otherwise one day, and again, the beautiful thing about Snoop Dogg could afford to have the one, and I'll put it into context after I'm just saying this. Snoop Dogg is one of the few that can afford to have 1 billion streams and only make $49,000 off it, because he's making money off of so many more things. He's making so many more things.
I mean, he can be realistic and say that's shit, but at least it's not affecting my lifestyle.
Whereas you know, that $49,000, if I ever were lucky enough to have 1 billion streams today, that $49,000 is a lot different to me than in the grand scheme of music.
I would rip your arm off for it, but I would still have that. Oh, I should be getting more for this, but I'll still take the 49,000.
Exactly. So, man, it's crazy, bro. I know we're gonna get Nary back here. We got some exclusives coming from Nary today as well. But yeah, I always want to talk about that stuff, because that's a lot of thing that, especially young artists, man, they have no clue about. They think they could just put out something that they feel is hot, and it very well might be, bro. It very well might be. But if you can't get it out there for people to hear, if you can't put marketing dollars behind it, if you can't work with DJs or podcasts or whatever to get your brand, to get your name, to get that track out there, I don't care how good it is. If people ain't hearing it, well, you ain't gonna make it. Nary's back. Let me get Nary back in here. You know, if you're not discreet, if you don't have the ability to have people hear that project and have marketing dollars behind it, well, bro, it ain't really worth shit, no matter how good it is, because if people don't hear it for what it is and how good it is, well, then, you know, it's just a dope track that nobody hears. It's like the good old saying, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. Nah, man, like, you got to put some marketing dollars behind it. Yeah, you got to put out a dope song and a dope track or a dope project, but you have to understand the business side behind it as well. Because Nary, I know, I'm pretty sure this has happened to you. And I was talking to Doe about this the other day. Like, you know, there will be artists out there who don't understand the business of putting together a track or a project or whatever, right? They go spend however many thousands of dollars. And in some cases, unless you're doing a lot of this shit yourself, from making the beat all the way to production, like, to put a track together, it's a lot of motherfucking money. Like, it really is. So yes, and people don't realize you go spend $4,000 or $5,000, in some cases more, to put one song together, right? Well, if you don't have money, you know, everybody spends that money like, yo, I got this dope song. But great, that's dope. I'm happy for you. But how many dollars do you have for your marketing? What are you talking about? I got $0. What the fuck you gonna do now? Now you really only have the hope method or the hope strategy of marketing. Well, man, I hope this shit goes viral, because otherwise it's just going to kind of just sit out in the world until it either catches virality down the road, 5 years. But so, man, you got to understand the business. Yes, you got to make a good product no matter what business you're in, but you also got to have some marketing dollars behind it. Do you think fucking McDonald's one day was just like, I'm going to make a Big Mac and hope fucking everybody wants to eat a fucking Big Mac? Nah, man. They probably put more marketing into money than the creation of the actual Big Mac itself. Like, it's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business.
You
know?
Exactly.
So that's my 2 cents on that shit. And I'm gonna digress real quick. But it's a business, people. It's a business.
Definitely.
You know? Nary, where you want to go next, bro? What you want to talk about next? What you want to do next? I know Discreet's chomping at the bit for some exclusives. What do you? It's your show today, Nary. What do you want to do, or what you want to talk about next?
Oh man, we want to jump into a little bit of music, or we?
Discreet, you want
Yeah, man.
you want some music, Discreet?
Yeah, man.
Right.
I want to hear some Nary
I got
beats.
this little beat right here. I'm working on.
Oh man. Oh, oh man. Oh man. Even though it's coming through the phone and that, I get
Discreet,
you.
be quiet.
Oh, man. The use of samples is just phenomenal.
Mm.
There's a little something, you know.
Oh man.
So
You got to post that on Facebook later so I can hear it like a bit more properly because obviously through the phone it was like going up and down
Yeah.
and internet shit. I can tell that is beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Like that's a typical Nary sound that I just heard. I
yes,
love it.
and you know, I want to ask a question on that. I want to ask a question on that, right? Because anybody that's been doing this for as long as you have done, Nary, you have your foundational sound, right? But
Yeah.
I know that I know this for a fucking fact. You are not a one-trick pony at
Oh.
all, or even fucking close to it. So
No,
my question to you is,
no
with
way.
as long as
All the
you've been doing
equipment
this,
he uses.
with as long as you've been doing this, what's the process for you to make something different or a branch off of what your foundational sound is, if that makes sense, right? Like, because that your sound is your sound.
Yeah.
How do you try to challenge yourself or just maybe do something a little differently? 20 years in, bro, 20 years in, you've got your process essentially down. So what does evolution look like for you when it comes to adding maybe a different level or added level to that sound of yours, or maybe making something different that might just be outright so different than what you're known for, if you will?
To me, I feel like my sound is getting more. I'm starting to pay attention to the actual sonics. So when I was first making my beats, it felt like everything was like thin, and it felt like, you know. And my approach to them was I was just clicking everything in. It was like a little bit robotic. But now since I'm strictly on the MPC, I just feel like my sonics are more. My sampling is different. Even when I'm playing the keys, they're different because I'm learning you know, different chords and melodies and everything. And it
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
feels like in the years, like I'm learning more. I'm more advanced with my techniques. And as far as, like, you know, when I approach for different genres and everything, I just approach them like I would approach my sound. You know, yeah. And I would just like, maybe like when I'm making my beats, I like to do the melody or chop first. I don't like to play the drums because
Yeah.
I feel like when I create the rhythm, that's when I'm a go from there
Yeah.
with my drumming. So like if I would, like with this one, like if I would do the sample when it would come in, like what I would create a melody like,
Oh, no.
you know, and go from there, you know. Or sometimes like if I would do the
That
drums,
gets sick.
that's how I would, you know, I would follow that rhythm with that. So
Okay.
it's just
Yeah.
like I really like changed my approach with everything as far as, you know, my techniques, my creation process and everything. And I feel like that's where that's where the growth is coming in more. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
we're missing we're missing like one of my favorite producers, EAC. It's one of my favorite producers. Like, he was doing Spice One, the Trigger Guts, No Heart, all the you know all of them. All that he was talking about, you know, that we're losing the sound, the quality. And it's like when you want to grow, you know, where you're growing, it's more, you know, being able to produce and everything. You really want to get the quality going, because that is going to, yeah, that's going to take you more.
Yes.
Mm.
You know who I think does a very, very great job of what you just described, Nary? And it triggered me by you saying Spice One in addition to that, and just thinking out West Coast.
Yes.
Yo, you know who I love? Brother Lynch Hung, bro. Brother
Oh
Lynch Hung
man,
out. Yo, come on, bro. Like
him.
talking about quality.
Yeah. Oh, the West Coast, man. Their productions are so they're just everything. Their sonics are so dope. Like you can hear everything.
Innit?
The bass. I mean the drums, the melodies, the mix. I love the West Coast with their sound. One of my favorite,
Innit?
Step Brother Lynch. What you
Yep.
know about Sibo?
Sibo,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Sibo,
We
man.
cook the birds in the kitchen. Palms itching.
Yo, and it's funny because it's
Legend.
crazy because like that was really my first introduction to hip hop was that West Coast sound back in 91,
Same.
92, right?
Oh
That's like when I
yeah.
really got introduced to it, and that's really where the passion for hip hop came from me. I mean, the first track I ever put out commercially was Letter to the West, and it was about my story of my introduction to hip hop through the West Coast. And it's, you know, it's funny because going through this process for me as an artist,
Mhm.
you know, the first project that I did, you know, under the Wonder Mike moniker, you know, the Full Circle EP, that was, I didn't have any production on it other than, you know, all the beats that Discreet gave me, and I was like my own producer, right? Like I just put a project together because that project was for me. I shared it with the world, but that project was for me to see, hey, can I do X and then go to Y and Z down the road? And through that process of now becoming Mikey P and
Yeah.
finding a different sound, a different flow, different tone, different cadence, everything. Like the last 9 months and working with Jay Peasy, you know, specifically, and even with Discreet as well, like I have found that, like, yo, like what I love, and going through the 100-track challenge that I did in December as well, Discreet, which I know you're familiar with, like it has brought me full
Yep.
circle to that point when I was 10 or 11 years old. Like I love rapping over beats that had those sonics, that has that mob feel to it, right? That bass is hitting because like I
Yeah.
want I want to work harmoniously. I want to work a dance, if you will, with the track, and that's exactly what I did on the Dark Piano Man track, Discreet, that I got recorded on
Yeah.
Friday night. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to work completely together, you know, like and having that West Coast feel to it, bro. Oh my God, like Nary said, like yo, it's just different,
Mm.
bro, because
Yeah.
those sonics are something different with West Coast production.
Oh,
Oh
it
yeah.
is. It is.
Yeah.
The older, like the more I get into hip hop, it's weird. I like the more I realise how different East and West are with their sounds.
Yep.
And it just like I've been into hip hop years now, but it still becomes apparent to me how different they are. In like the everything about hip hop, like the sound, the way they dress,
Yeah.
their attitude, their slang, everything.
Well, it is.
Not saying the East Coast is like it's weird. Like I love the East Coast almost as much as the West Coast sound, but they're so different. It's like different
Well,
reasons you love them
here
for.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you exactly like this because
Yeah.
you are very right there, Discreet. One's not necessarily better than the other, and I'll give you an exact
No.
analogy of why. It's like in Lethal Weapon 3. For anybody that remembers Lethal Weapon 3, okay? I don't know if you're gonna remember the scene. It's at the very end of the movie, okay? Mel Gibson's character, Riggs, okay?
Yeah.
He's at the grave of his ex-wife. He's remarried now, or he's getting married again, or whatever. And he's visiting his ex-wife, right? And Joe Pesci comes up to him because Riggs is going through some moments, And Joe Pesci's like, "What's going on?" And Mel Gibson gives his thoughts. He's like, "Oh, he's like, I love my ex-wife." He's like, "I love my new wife too." And Joe Pesci tells a story about when he was a kid, he had this frog, right? The frog ended up dying, okay? Joe Pesci went and got another frog, okay? And Joe Pesci's message to Mel Gibson was in this moment, "Hey, bro, I love this frog as much as I love this new frog that I got, but they're two different frogs. I just love them in a different way. And it's okay, especially if somebody's passed on, right? So it's okay to have that love for something that's different, but foundationally the same, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be, I like the East Coast more than the West Coast, or I love the West Coast more than what's coming out of Atlanta or the Midwest or wherever, whatever. Bro, you can love what you love for the differences that are offered.
It's almost like well, the West Coast is so good at giving you that clean sound, right? But then the East Coast is so good at giving you that dirty sound.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the opposite, but they do it so well. It's that's my take on East and West. The West is like really clean, and the East is like really dirty. But they're both so good at what they do.
Definitely, man.
Without question there, and it's no different. Nary, Discreet, and I talk on this frequently. What I love about what we're talking about right now is we miss the days where, again, in kind of like that 90s or that golden era of hip hop, like you heard a beat come on and you either knew where, even if you didn't know the producer, you knew what region that beat was coming from, or even if you didn't know necessarily a new artist that you're maybe hearing for the first time, you knew where that artist was from just from the cleanliness of it, or the grittiness of their voice, or whatever.
Exactly.
Like each area and region had a sound. Whereas again, recently, at least mainstream wise, for the purists, if you will, like everybody just kind of fucking sounds the same, man.
Oh man.
And I don't like that, but that's just me. That's just me.
It's just the way it is. I reckon that like the old school sound is slowly coming back. It's just all the old school artists that have released recently tell me that. Well, I hope they keep it up anyway. I'm anticipating Exhibit's new album as well. I can't wait for that shit.
I am too.
Cannot wait.
I am too. And that Bone Thugs is back in the
I tell you
studio
what,
right now.
I don't think anyone's going to be on that label for very long. I really don't.
I guess we'll see.
We'll see. I hope I'm wrong, but I just like I wouldn't really want a boss like that.
He's a wild one. He's a wild one. Hey, Nary, one question I definitely wanted to make sure I asked you today, and let me ask it right now before I forget. How many pieces of equipment do you own, bro? Because with you, I gather 20 years in, I figure it to be like you're like somebody who loves to get their body tattooed. Like what are how many tattoos you got, right? But in this case, how many pieces of equipment do you have as a producer, bro?
You know what? I actually had the computer first before I even got my equipment. When I started out on Fruity Loops. That's what but they call it FL. But I started out on that, and I just grew through the years. I learned that, and I just needed more. So now I got the MPC. I used to work on the 1000. Now I work with the studio because my setup is more hybrid now, to where everything my hardware, like I got synthesizers. I use a Proteus for the sounds, and I use the Alesis, the keyboard, and I put everything in the DAW. I'm running everything through Studio One.
Okay.
Right,
and
yeah, I've heard
everything gels together in there for me. The sound quality, everything. But
awesome.
I run an SSL for the interface. I run a Mackie mixer to give me my analog sound. So what I would do is I'm running my interface into the my mixer, the Mackie mixer, and then I'm running it back through another mixer, and I'm running it through Pro Tools and everything too. So that's why when you hear it, it's still it didn't lose the sound from it being digital.
That is, that's thorough. That is
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little bit of equipment, but not too much. No, don't really need too much,
excuse me,
to get the job done.
isn't it?
Well,
But yeah, like Nary does his shit at another level.
Man,
He
ain't
really
that the
does.
truth? Nary, go ahead and let everybody outside know whether they're watching this live with us right now or when they watch this here in the future.
yes.
What recent projects have you put out there? And is there anything? I know we got some exclusives that we're going to be hearing today. We already heard one earlier, heard a couple earlier already. And anything that we are able to hear, we are privileged to have on the show. But what else you maybe got cooking right now? What else you working on right now? In addition to what you've recently, put out there, because I know you put a couple beat mixtapes out there recently as well.
Yeah, I have some artists I'm working with. So I work with my guy. He's originally from New York, Brooklyn, New York, but he's down North Carolina. My man Midas. I've done his whole project. Fair, I'm gonna play it. Of course,
Oh, awesome.
me, working with illness. We got some tricks up our sleeves. That's all I can tell y'all.
Oh,
We
definitely.
got some tricks up
Isn't
our
it?
sleeves. I would just leave it like that. Shout out to illness. Shout out.
Shout out
Yeah, shout
Illness.
out Illness.
He has this message. Get back at him
I got my guys. Shout out to my guys, man. The building, man, in Pittsburgh, man. Shout out to my guys. I'm doing some projects with them. My brother. Shout out to G Dub. Shout out to my guy Shiz. Shout out to my brother Bro Luke. His female rapper, man. She's a cannon. Lady Lim Cannon. I'm telling you, like we got some projects coming. Yup. I have some stuff out with my man Solomon Childs from the Woo.
Oh,
Yeah, Wu-Tang. Yo, we done a couple projects. We got one called Wu-Tang Barbecue. We done. And
oh man, I bet
That's
that
exciting.
sounds sick.
That's exciting.
yes,
Yeah.
I've done a record with him. It's called Before It Gets Ugly. That's actually on a trap beat too.
Oh, fucking
Yes.
hell. No way. I've got to hear that one.
Yeah, if
I've got to hear that.
if you're a Wu-Tang Clan fan,
Yeah.
Ghostface Killer had that group called Theodore Unit.
Yep.
I think I remember that,
They had one album called 718. But even before that, on the Ghostface Killer album, Supreme Clientele, Solomon Childs is on that album.
No way,
Yep.
man. Fucking awesome.
Yes.
We were talking about that on Hip Hop History a while ago, that Supreme Cartel.
Yes, classic. And
Yeah.
I remember us bringing that up.
He has a song with RZA and Ghostface on there. And he was one of my placements. I worked with him. I started working with him around 2018, 2019. And we've been working steady. We got some stuff in the making too, some more. But if you could go on all the DSPs and everything, find the album. It's called Wu-Tang Barbecue, and then he had another one, King of New York, King Kong New York, part 2. I got a song on there with him and his lady. It's called No Bread.
Oh, wicked.
Yes, he was one of my ones, man. And it was to me that was like one of my ones where I felt like wow, I'm really doing this because I was young listening to the Wu. Like I'm a big Wu-Tang fan.
It's like they're the moments where you think that's what you're doing it for. It's like not so much the money, just that happiness almost.
Oh man, you guys stay in tune, man, because I have some more stuff. But with the industry, everything's a secret.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on too much, but there's definitely going to be some surprises coming up in the near future. Future with everything.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Man,
but
I cannot fucking.
For my city, I'm working with a couple guys. Like I said, my guys, the building. That's where we all go hang out at, and we do music. Like everything in there comes organically too. Like there's no, it's just like we put the music on. We do everything in my cousin's kitchen. We do everything in there, and you won't even be able to tell the quality because the mixing and everything is done. So that's coming out, and yeah, it's gonna be a year, man. It's gonna be a year for hip hop. It's gonna be a year.
Well, we are fucking here for it, Nary, and we can't wait.
Oh,
What's
man.
up?
We gotta work too, man.
No, Nary, I'll tell you this right now, and I've told this to Discreet. This is the year that I'm finally getting a Nary beat at a minimum. At a minimum. And I wasn't able to fish it out last night, but I'm gonna go fish out that beat that you posted on Facebook, December 17th, 2023. I want that motherfucking beat. December 17th, 2023. I'm coming for that fucking beat, bro, because as soon as I heard it, yo, I just started knocking in my head, bro.
Be quiet. Now you let it out the bag. Everyone else is going to want to hear that beat.
They got to go find it. And I'm telling you right now, they ain't going to go fishing like this motherfucker's going to go fishing for that beat. But nah. We are getting some work in this year because Nary, like I was saying earlier, with my new sound, everything I've discovered about myself the last 8-9 months, as soon as I drop this single that I recorded on Friday, Dark Piano Man with Jay Peasy, shout out to Jay Peasy, because this motherfucker leveled me up like I would have never thought was possible, honestly. Definitely. And it was funny because I talked to Dante, who recorded me on Friday night. He was like, yo, he's like, those motherfuckers that was in the booth with us on Friday night, they were feeling that shit, bro. And I was like, hey, man, I appreciate it. And I say that to say this. Now that this track is recorded and it's getting shipped in a couple weeks, it's off to mixing and mastering, bro. I'm putting out so much motherfucking music. I'm just shipping music this year, bro. And Nary, we are doing some music this year that I'm telling you, bro, we are doing some dope shit this year. I know this. Yes, we're getting it in, Nary. We are getting it in, bro.
And also too, I gotta shout my man out. I gotta shout my man out. See Real. He was on your show. He was talking about my beat tape and everything. So I was like, you know what? When I get on, I'm gonna give him a shout out too, man.
Yes, no. Shout out to C-Real. That was a fun conversation that we had with him like a month ago.
C-Real's one of them, man. He'll have you going, man. He's a real entertaining type of dude, man. Definitely.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man. It's crazy, man. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think he released a project too. Like
yes, and he's got some other stuff that he's shipping, I think, at the end of this month too. So he's been working a lot in the background with what he got going on.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So looking forward to that, bro. Looking forward. Nary, anything else you got? Anything else that you want to play for us? Any exclusives that you're willing to share with us today?
Man. Oh man, I'm gonna play you my one artist. I'll play you a bit of my one artist. We have this. We have a. Oh man. We got this one coming out. This one's called My Ambition.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of them, man. It's one of them. All right, here we go.
This is dope.
Yeah. Y'all know what it is. Nary, what it do? Pay attention. Yeah, my ambition got more bars than said quick. Left for a minute, they talking about swag business. Came back with a new bag and blue business. Shows me a whole new path, I'm too different. Keep a slipping on the nigga at all time. Paint on his face like he worked in a coal mine. Talking about the money is no time. I ain't got no time to fuck with a nigga who co-sign. Straight to the point, I don't do no
See, that's a bit different. That's a bit different to what I normally expect from Nary. I like that shit. Yeah. That beat was sick.
I'm gonna tell you like this, everybody has a couple favorite restaurants, right? That they've maybe frequented in life, whether currently or in the past, road, and everybody has that one, right? Where you're just like, every time I go to this place, I don't care what I had, what meal I had at this place. I've never had a bad meal. Every time, no fucking lie, Nary. Every time I hear one of your beats, bro, there's nothing I can say. Bro, there's nothing I can say, bro, because every time I go to the Nary DaProducer restaurant and hear a beat bro, like, dude, like, come on, bro, like, come on,
And
yo.
I've never been disappointed from what I hear.
Man,
Never.
thanks, man. Thanks.
It's crazy.
And
Absolutely,
Yeah, me
absolutely
nothing.
crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. Man. There's
Excuse me,
definitely one
guys.
more question that I wanted to make sure that I asked you today, Nary. And at the top of the conversation, when we were introducing you and you took the time to introduce yourself in your own words, you talked about where you started, how long you've been doing this. People that, have influenced you. I always like to get the insight from artists. Who are some people that are not necessarily either well known in the music world or who might not even be in the music world, more at that local level, that people that might be known. Talk about some personal influences, if you could, when it came down to you getting into the music to the extent that you've had.
oh man, as far as what you mean, like musically or just with in general, like
Yeah, I would say in general, like on the personal level, and then if there's anybody, because I know obviously Pittsburgh, PA, you got some ties, of course, to North Carolina as well.
yeah.
Somebody that might be at that local level, musically, that might not be known to people out there, right? So kind of like on
Yeah.
that personal level and on that local level as it pertains to music specific.
Cool. The local level right now in my city, but they're a little bit known. They're definitely getting their weight out. Shout out to my guys, Fast Money Entertainment, Gotti Boy and Gutter. They have some dope music. If you
Awesome.
guys get a chance, I'll after we get off, I'll send you the links and everything. You could check them out, man.
Yes,
They're
please.
definitely, man. One of my favorites for real. And man, these guys lyrically, yes, them two are this could be like on a Mob Deep duo type thing or a Styles P
Oh,
Jada
yeah.
case, yeah, or on that type of on a duo level, like these guys they got it.
Well, just saying, like, that Mob Deep thing, if that's not going to get people's attention, that, like, straight away, I was like, oh, I want to hear this shit then.
It's just like the duo, like not I wouldn't say like like as far as the music, because of course those guys can't that level is different, but
Yeah,
it's like the new duo. These guys is like they can be they can get that and be the next ones, definitely.
yeah.
Gotti Boy and
I
Nutter.
understand what you
Yes,
mean. You can't. There will never be another Mob
nah,
Deep, but
no,
they'll be close to it.
never.
They'll be
And
close.
shout out to my man from the infamous mob too. He always show me love. My man Ty Nitty. 3.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
he's good dude, man. Definitely. Um,
Oh man.
yep.
You're connected, Nary.
I would say like, man, it's just really like these are the guys that I was really listening to, man, and it's like for me to be able to like correspond with these dudes and really just
Oh
yeah,
man.
it's definitely
Feels special, doesn't
yeah,
it?
it's definitely a different different thing. But back to the we was saying like what some of my people like I said my guys from here Lady Luke, Lady Lim, my G Dub, Shares is coming up too. Shares is one of them. Like he's coming up definitely. He's making it way. North
Awesome.
Carolina wise, it was my cousins. My cousin had a record label. It was Versatile. Down there, it was a couple guys, man.
Oh man.
It's nice,
It's
and we
popping.
always love being able to get to know that, because obviously, anybody that has influences, growing up or even today as it stands, right, from
Yeah,
the well known names that
Yeah.
people would know in general, right. It's always
yeah,
nice to know that, but I
Yeah.
love getting to know, at that local level or that personal level, like who's influenced you, and I appreciate you sharing that with us in the
Yeah.
Outsiders today, because it's dope, man. Like that, I think people that just need to hear that in general. Like, when you think about an athlete, you think about, who their personal heroes were, or people that were just saluting them the whole way and riding them on to get to that level of greatness. And I think it's really dope when we hear
Exactly.
that, from the music perspective as well, because everybody has
Yeah.
influences along the way, both from
Yeah.
people that are well known out there in the world, but also at that local level, there's some kind of influence or somebody that has put you in a position where you're like, yo, you can't do this because I believe in you, or just what
Exactly.
energy you're able to take from that individual, and I really love getting to know
It's
that
like
about people.
what you're saying. Like he's got nothing to do with hip hop, but just his whole mindset inspires me. Alex Ferguson, the ex-Man United
Hmm.
manager, just how he kept Manchester United on top of the world for like 25 years, and how he done that inspires me in how I take to making music. Do you know what I mean? Well, just to life, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you just have the right approach to life in general and you wake up with that same
Yeah,
intent every single day, like whatever
Yeah.
we want out of this
yeah,
life should be a byproduct of that mindset, right? Like there's so many things going
yeah.
on in our lives as individuals. There's so many
I'll
things
quickly tell you something. Let me quickly tell you something, right? The brain, right? If you see something in front of you now, both of you look across your room and you'll see something, and your brain registers that, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you imagine something, now imagine you're on stage in front of 60,000 people, your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain does not know the difference between your imagination and what you can actually see in front of you. Your brain thinks it's the same thing. So that tells you about if you believe in something, you can make it happen because your brain's already saying, well, this is real as long as you keep doing what you got to do. Do
Well,
you know what
I
I
think
mean?
that's the importance of repetition, and I'm going to ask Nary a question here in a second specific to that because one thing that when I started working with Jay Peasy last summer, he told me like in order to do what you want to do with this, Mike, he's like you got to put in a minimum, and I think this is for any whether it be artistry or discipline that we as individuals are looking to get better at, right? And stay good at. He's like, bro, you got to put in 30 minutes a day, right? I'm just like on
Yeah.
average, right? So I might miss today, but that means I got to do an hour tomorrow or 45 minutes to an hour and
Yeah.
45 minutes the next day. We're just talking in generalities, right?
It's less than half
It
hour.
is.
I think it's like 20
Correct.
minutes.
But
Yeah.
something. So every day I try to do some form of writing, whether it's literally on paper or in
Yeah.
my head, just to keep the mind working, right? Or getting on and listening to something or whatever, something towards bettering myself in my craft. Nary, is that an approach?
To make sure your brain's still trained.
Exactly, because it becomes like breathing at that point, right? It just becomes second nature.
Yeah.
Nary, do you
Just maintaining a skill, innit?
yes.
And by maintaining it, you're going to get better.
Exactly. And my question to you, Nary, is do you have any kind of like formula or foundation that you like to stick to in the sense of just making sure that you're getting your reps in with your craft? It doesn't necessarily have to be like 30 minutes a day, but just do you have that, or you're just when you have the time, are you just getting in and getting shit done or working on shit?
Soon as I get that inspiration, that's it. So like that.
Yeah. I'm the
I
same.
just let the inspiration, go to. If my creativity is like overflowing, I'm just in here. I'm in here all day.
Exactly. I'm the same. Once I get something, I can, like, once I start, it might be a certain time, then, you'll start feeling a little bit wary or something, and you've been sat there for 8 hours. Do you know what I mean?
It takes the right. If I hear the right old song somewhere, I might be on YouTube and I hear something, it'll pop right up. I'll be like, oh man, time to turn it on. That's it. Time to turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if I'm listening to a record and I just hear it, I'll time to hook it up. Let's go.
Another great feeling I get is when you imagine something in your head and you think, right, let's set everything up. I want to make this beat that's going on in my head.
Man.
And when you make something and it translates just the way you had it in your head, I love that shit. Because a lot of the time you'll be like, you got an idea and it takes a bit of time to find it in reality.
Yep.
But sometimes when you find it straight away, it's just like, oh, this is what I was fucking looking for. Yes, I've got it. I love that feeling.
Yep, it just comes from there for real. Anything just the music, basically. Music inspires my music, all music every day.
Yeah. Same.
I could be listening to a
Same.
rock and roll song. I have a single out with a guy. He's actually from over there where you're from, Rob. Guys,
Yeah,
yeah,
England.
perfect,
No way.
perfect Pete. I got a song with him called Rock and Roll.
All right. Oh, cool,
Yeah,
man. What part of England is he from?
I'm not sure the exact,
No.
but he's from over there, and we
Yeah, yeah,
I was listening to a rock and roll song. I had to chop it, man. Had to chop it.
yeah.
And yeah, it turned into that, man. So it's just like all genres for real.
Oh,
They're starting to inspire me a lot more. Even the stuff that the young guys are doing, some of that, I take little
yeah.
pieces out of that and do some beats like that with my own way to, you know.
Yep.
So it's just like
Yeah,
it's basically like everything around me sometimes inspires me. Like while I'm
innit?
in this room right now with with the lights and everything, dim and everything. I got so many ideas brewing right now.
Man,
That's what's up, and I think
that's the way.
that's that's the important thing that comes with being able to do it so repetitiously.
Mhm.
It breeds that confidence, right? It breeds that
Yep.
confidence, and I'll speak to it. I told you guys a few minutes ago. You know, I just went and got Dark Man Piano, or Dark Piano Man, excuse me, is the track's name, recorded on Friday, and like when I showed up, like Dante had showed me or had told me there's gonna be at least this one dude there, this dude Charlie, who's a videographer and makes documentaries and shoots music videos and stuff like that as well. And it was a new experience for me because Discreet, as you know, I've only been in the booth with Van to this point. It's been me and
Yeah,
Van and nobody else. And I've built up that
yeah,
confidence level with Van being in the studio.
Yeah.
And like, so me knowing that there was going to be somebody new, I mean, this is the first time that I was getting recorded by somebody other than Van, and there was going to be somebody in there. So
yeah,
like for me, it was like a double new experience, right? And like in
yeah,
the past, like I would have been like, oh my God, like I'm a little nervous, if you will, right? And bro,
Yeah.
I walked in there, I
yeah.
was not nervous. It was different because I was so confident in myself and what I've already done with this track. Like I'm here, just lay the fucking gas down that I know I got on this shit, right? And then two other dudes showed up on top of it. So now it's me and four dudes three of them I never
Met
ever met
before.
before in any way, shape, or form. And all
Yeah,
four of them I was essentially performing for the first time ever. Like 8 months ago, bro,
yeah,
I don't know if I would have honestly been able to do it. I would have done it. I don't know if I would have done it well. But you know, just
yeah.
that repetition and working and honing my craft over the last 8 to 9 months, bro,
Mhm.
I knew what the fuck I was supposed to do. And honestly, I didn't fucking care who was there in the moment because I put the blinders on and got this shit
Innit?
done, bro. And that's what I
Exactly.
want people to take out of the conversation that we're having about repetition right now. The more you hone your craft, whatever it is, you're not only going to get better, but you're going to get more confident as well. And
Yeah,
that confidence is
so
going to
true.
exude to the people that are able to witness that in that moment. Or if you decide to share that,
Exactly.
people are going to feel that. And am I wrong in saying that? I know I'm
Mm.
just speaking about
Nah,
my experience
nah,
on
No,
that on
yeah,
Friday, but
that is
but
so
I'm
true.
curious to hear
right.
y'all's thoughts about that as well.
Definitely right.
No, that is. It is. It's impossible. It's like it's impossible not to be true. What I mean is because, like, positive breeds positivity, and negative breeds negativity. It's like simple maths. If you go around, I've said this before. Oh, my life's so shit, right? Your life's going to be shit. You're telling yourself it, so you're going to feel shit. If you go out in the world and like, I'm going to be good. I'm going to make myself. I'm going to improve myself today and have a positive mindset. Positive things happen. Like literally, if you've got a positive mindset, positive things happen. Negative mindset, negative things happen. Like go out into the world and watch. Honestly, people like, oh, just because I'm being positive don't mean my life's going to be good. Yes, it fucking
There you go.
will. Try it because you're being fucking negative.
It's the power of the
So
mindset.
that's
Yeah.
why the negative.
No, I'm with you.
Oh
Nary,
man,
what
it
are your thoughts,
relates to what
Nary?
you were just
What are
saying.
your thoughts on what I shared there?
It,
Was I on point there? What are your just general thoughts about what I said a few minutes ago?
He was definitely on point. Definitely, I couldn't
mm,
agree with you more, man. You know, I
And
if you've got the mindset to like train yourself every day to get better at something, you
yep.
will. How can you not? It's impossible
It's
not to.
definitely about your mindset. Not you know whatever your condition that you're in is all about the mindset. Like because you know that you're trying
Yeah,
to you're trying to get better and you're trying to live better. You're trying to do better at something that your
it's
man,
like
you know.
I always say, if someone like if I say to someone, "Oh, do you think you could do this?" or "Do you like this?" and
Yeah,
if they turn around and be like, I don't know," right away I'm like, they ain't got it. They ain't got it. They ain't got the passion for it because they're
nope,
already being helpful, and you can see it straight away. They're not going to be putting their all into it because they're already showing doubt in body language and oh, I don't know, and their
yeah,
whole demeanor tells me that they're not right. They're not up for it. So
yeah,
I'll be doubtful straight away if someone turns to me and says I don't know or don't make any sounds like that. I'm like, I don't know about
you know what?
it.
That's like just like with me. Like you, I had the you gotta have a mindset for this, and then
I
like you
want
said,
excitement.
the love. You gotta have the
Yeah.
love
When
for
you
it.
see excitement in someone's face when you're saying something like that, that's
Yeah,
when I'm triggered thinking, yeah, they're up for this. Because you can see
yeah.
the excitement, you can see the positivity, and yeah,
You definitely, and it's like with this game, you definitely have to have the love because you have to realize that you're gonna spend more than what you're gonna bring in. You have to
yeah.
know that. So if you're in this, if you're in this for the money, you got a lot of upsets, a lot of heartbreaks,
Oh,
and you're
man.
gonna be in a lot of debt.
Yeah,
You know,
too
you have
true.
to you have to have the love for this. You have to continue. I've been around so many people that's like, oh, I'm done. This shit ain't making me no money. I ain't doing it. But it's like, man, dude, this is an art. This is
Isn't it?
art. It's not. It's this
If
is not.
someone gives up because they're
Yeah,
not making money, I think, well, you obviously don't love it that much. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
If money is what's keeping you going, you don't love it that much.
Nope,
That's
nope.
my attitude anyway.
And it's just it's just the thing, like, man, you have to love, and that's with anything. Like if you love to cook, you have to know that you have to put, like Mike was saying earlier, you have to put some hustle into that, man. You know,
Exactly.
you have to. So you have to
My
be able to
sister's
love.
boyfriend, the
You have to be
passion
Hold
he
on,
able.
puts
discreet.
into
Hold on,
cooking.
discreet. Hold on, discreet. Let
Yeah,
him finish. Let him
sorry.
finish.
That's okay. That's okay. You know, we organic with this, man. This is just like we on the phone. But
Isn't it?
you have to have that love. You have to have that love for the hustle too. Besides
Mm,
loving what you do, you have to love the hustle. You have to love it because
exactly.
if you don't, you know, you gonna find yourself okay. Oh, I see him making money with that, so I'm going to do what he's doing.
Mm,
Yeah, and that's where we're at with the music today. You just got people, you know, like Mike was saying, everybody is it sounds all the same because everybody's trying to be the next person that they feel that's making money or have some type of level of the success that they want.
exactly.
So there's no genuine, there's no love, there's no, you know, your mind's not on nothing but just getting out of your situation for that moment.
Isn't it?
Yep.
No, it's so true there. Discreet, go ahead. Say what you were going to say. I apologize,
I was
but
just,
I knew Nary was going on a dope point there, and I was
I know.
I wanted
I
to make
was
sure
just
that we got
chipping
that one out.
in. Just it reminded me of like my sister's boyfriend. He loves cooking, and you can like when the odd occasion when he rings me and says, "I'm cooking this. Do you want some?" And I'm always like, "Yes, please," because he's so passionate about cooking. You know it's going to taste good. He loves it.
Yep.
So, do you know what I mean? Anytime I get offered a meal from him, I'm like, yes, please. I know that
Well,
shit's going to be good.
and that's an extremely valid point in the analogy that we're talking. And Nary said it as well. You know, you can do one or two things. You know, yeah, you can try and put something out like you've heard, or in this case, you've seen or you've tasted,
Yeah,
right? But like, do you really know all of the actual ingredients that went into that? Because all
yeah.
you saw was the finished product in some cases. You don't
A
necessarily
lot of the
know
time,
how
I
it
know
was
it goes,
actually made. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you've got to know, like, even if you want to use that as an influence, cool, but use your own fucking ingredients. Use your own process. Maybe you're grilling that beet instead of cooking it on the fucking barbecue. Maybe
it's like,
you're sous videing that shit as opposed to putting it in the toaster oven. be influenced by it, but do it with your own ingredients and your own process,
Yes,
because it's your own twist and your own uniqueness into
exactly.
whatever it is that you're being influenced by.
People who like to they like to be different, and I like to add a sprinkle of this, and you know they're passionate because they're doing shit that other people don't do.
Oh man.
People
So
who ain't passionate about something, they'll just bung it together. Like
oh
when
yeah.
it comes
Oh
to
yeah.
cooking.
That's why we have a lot of trash out here, man. A lot of trash. Where they're not passionate with the acting no more. They're just and then they're remaking the classics and they're garbage. They're
Yep.
Yeah,
garbage. I did not like that the Fresh Prince one. I didn't like that one. I didn't like the Good Times one.
Yep.
I mean it's just like leave the classics alone and start
yeah,
your own franchise.
yeah,
But you want to do that because you know there's no more, so you're going to dilute our history.
yeah. You
You
can't
know?
remake classics.
Yeah,
They
like
are what they are.
exactly. I'm just like like that Fresh Prince, good show, but it shouldn't have been the Fresh Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey's some type of super mafia type dude. Like like that wasn't the Jeffrey that we knew, man.
No,
Come
no.
on.
Oh, I've not seen it, but that's already ruined it for me. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Man, well, it's
every
crazy. Like
every
so
time the
much
show
so,
comes
Nary.
on, every time the show comes on, Carlton got something going up his nose.
Yep.
Well, what?
That's not the
I
Carlton I
mean,
grew up knowing. And it's
come
crazy because
on,
I'm
man.
running through all of Fresh Prince, the original. I'm running
Yes,
through that right now. Like
Yeah,
if I like
Colton,
just want to watch
Colton
something,
was
I'm
square
watching the
as
Fresh
they come.
Prince right now.
yeah. Carlton had a problem one time. He got the pills out of Will's locker. He wasn't
Yeah.
every time the show came on. Some shit was going up his nose. I
Mhm.
think
Fucking
that
hell.
come on, man. that
That's not
call that
Colton.
something else. Yeah, call it something else.
Yo,
Dope
yo,
No
shows,
way.
just not that. Yeah,
No.
not that.
Sounds like
yeah.
it, just like you say, Nary, it just needed a different title.
Yeah, oh man, it probably would have took off even more if it would have had its own title.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sounds
Like
like it. No
just
way.
crazy, man, crazy.
No, I agree, man. Like again, because Discreet and I talked about it a couple weeks ago on our hip hop show. Imitation versus influence. It's one thing to
Yes,
literally imitate somebody and do it
Yeah,
exactly as they're doing it, or at least letting that be your goal, versus being influenced by somebody. And there's
I know.
nothing
exactly.
wrong with being influenced by anybody, like, because sometimes you need that to find out and figure out what the goal is. Like when I did
Yeah,
this track with JPZ, like, he
you
had
can't
me.
make music without
No, you
hearing
can't.
music.
Well, he told me, he was like, "This is what this is how I hear you," and he's like,
Yes,
"Here's like here's a reference for you, right?" So he utilized Snoop Dogg as a reference for me, but then that led me down the rabbit hole from the conversation that we had. I listened to for 2 weeks straight. I listened to only Be Legit, E40, and Richie Rich for 2 weeks. And then again, I took the bits and pieces of that, coupled with what he said about like the coolness that he was looking for, from Snoop Dogg. So I took bits and pieces of what he, from those four people. I went and did my homework, but then it came mine. I don't sound like E40 on this track. I don't sound like Richie Rich on this track. I don't sound like Be Legit on this track. I damn sure don't sound like Snoop Dogg on this track.
No.
I'm gonna sound like me, but
yeah,
the influence for the foundation of this track from me lyrically, it came from those four pieces. And there's nothing wrong with that, because Discreet, you said it before, like there's so much influence in the world. Like think about it from this perspective. How many times have you heard a bar influenced from a bar that we've heard in the past?
Oh
oh
yeah,
man,
loads of
oh
times.
yeah,
And right in the right context, there's nothing wrong with that, because there was the
No.
influence there. But
yeah,
you don't hear necessarily somebody coming out and literally going bar for bar for bar in a whole track and saying this is my track. No, because
no,
that's imitation. You might as
yeah,
well, like we say, Discreet, take a picture, fucking trace it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, you didn't draw that picture. All you did was fucking trace something that was already done.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is
yeah.
so fucking true.
That's my thoughts on uniqueness. There.
Yeah,
Definitely need to have that, and that's like what I like with the guys that I'm working with. Like the building, you know, my man Luke and everything. Like my man Luke, he got like a different flow to him, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
and Lady Lim, she got her flow, like she's don't sound like what's out today. Like
Mm.
Lady Lim got the bars, like she got her own thing, like her own swagger, her own everything. And
Oh,
that's why it's definitely important, you know, to the uniqueness and everything.
definitely,
Definitely,
definitely.
Completely agreed. Completely
definitely.
agreed, man. Well, we're gonna start winding down. We're not getting off right necessarily the second,
All
but we're gonna
good.
start. We're gonna start winding down here. Because I will sit here and talk all day, but I still got some packing to do to move to Kansas City in 4 days.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm about to kick back and get me something to eat and then turn the TV on and relax, man.
yes, buddy. Yes, buddy. But before we start to close that door on people who have been joining us again, anybody that's
Yeah,
just joining us in the last couple of minutes or you're just seeing this right now, this will always live on our We Outside Live podcast YouTube channel.
On YouTube.
We're going to be
yeah,
sharing it, so make sure that if you haven't caught it, or trust me, you should listen to this again.
yeah.
Even if it's going to live on our YouTube channel. Nary, anything else that you want to talk about today? Anything else that the outsiders or we should know that's going on, or that you want us to know in
Like
general about you, about the culture? Literally, this is your show, bro. So I want to make sure anything that you wanted to make sure is communicated here on this platform today. I want to make
yeah,
sure that we take the time to make sure everything gets checked off that list today on this conversation.
I want to say a couple things. We got the Yard Work album, Yard
Yeah,
Boys. Shout out to Yard Boys, beautiful album, man.
Yes.
We got it
it is.
definitely, man.
I'm
We got
still
that.
listening to it.
Man, it was an honor for me to be able to produce on that project, man. It was an honor.
Shout
Um,
out your boys, Hectic and Illness, man. That
yeah,
album is sick.
shout out, man. Heck, we got. Heck, I want to work with you too, man. If you're watching, I definitely want to. We got to work.
I'll let him
Um,
know.
Basically too, man, about me, some things that, you know, man, you know, y'all don't know, man. I'm a classic dude, man, for the world that don't know, man. So, you know, my sound
Definitely.
comes from my love of the old stuff, man. I'm just a real nostalgic dude, man. Always,
That
always,
is, I
yes.
couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, like, man, I'm like, I still play Sega Genesis, man.
I love it.
I would
I love
prefer
it.
those games over the new games
Yeah,
because it's like everything is so once the reality and all about the looks of the games and stuff. The gameplay don't be there no more, and that's how I feel about the music. You know, so
I
I'm
agree.
definitely a thing about Nary the producer. I'm a definitely nostalgic dude. You know, I'm a halfway nerd. You know,
yeah.
I'm halfway.
That's the way to be in music, man.
Hey, man.
Knowledge is power, bro. Knowledge is
Yes, man.
power.
I'm always I'm a real, you know, I'm a reader. I like the music stuff and everything. I'm a video gamer. You know, definitely I'm more of a retro gamer though, but I'm still
Yeah,
a gamer. And like I say I be chilling and music, you know, y'all know me for the music. That's like water, man. This is
ain't it?
life. This is not just my profession. This is my life.
Ain't it? Can I quickly ask something, Nary?
Yes, sir.
If What would your life be like? How would you react if I took music away from you right now? You can't listen to it. You can't make it. What would you do?
I'm gonna find a way. I'll make some music with a stick and a rock.
Fucking brilliant! I love it.
I'm telling you,
I love it.
I've had the
I
love for
love
music.
it.
1984, man. Since 1984, man.
I've never heard
My
that
love
answer before.
uh,
I love it. I'll get a stick and a rock. Fucking
love
right.
it, love it, man. This is not. It's more than the money for me with this.
Yeah.
I'm always investing in this, and I'll have some slower months when I don't sell beats, and I'll have some good months. But I'm always going to do this. It's not going to be oh man, I should just go get a job or I should just go
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to always do this through the
Yeah.
good and the bad because I've been through some.
Until
I've
you
been
can't
through it.
anymore.
Yeah, I've been through this.
And
But
I'm the same. Until I can't do it, physically can't do it anymore, I can't see me stopping.
I just can't, man. Like this is always when I be relationships, you know, when I told my girl like, look, this comes with it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it.
If anything, it comes before you.
Yep.
Sometimes yes. And I can't help it because it's just like my love. It's not necessarily to, you know, I
I
know that I
always
gotta do it because it's my profession. It's just that I'm just going to do it.
and plus, I always
Yes.
find my comparison. I always think in a relationship, a girl might let me down. Music never lets me down, man. Music's like an animal. Like they're just so loyal. They never let you down. It's just like, yeah, music's never going to hurt me. Do you know what I mean?
You know what?
You might know. You might, you bitch.
Music, it kind of a little bit kind of be like irritating me sometimes because I'm always hearing music.
Yeah,
It's not. I was. I don't know if it's.
I'll be right back.
All right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
I don't even know if
apologies,
it's
Nary.
normal.
I'm not referring to your girl as a bitch. I'm just saying, in my experience, you know,
Yeah,
third person.
there's always there's always some type of music playing. It just I hear a drum beat or I hear a sample chop or I'll hear the way I'm gonna play some keys. I'll be like, oh damn, let me go ahead and do this. Then when I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
done making the music, I'm hearing it. I hear it when I'm asleep. I hear it when I'm in the shower. I just hear it all the time.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
the only thing that I would say, like, man, damn, man.
And it, give me a break.
Yeah, yeah, man.
But man, I do. I just like. I just love it. To me, it means more to me than falling in love at the moment. Well, I am in love with music. Do you know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep,
That's my love at the moment. That's if I'm getting married, it's to music.
definitely, definitely. You understand?
But
Well, what's next up for you?
well, I'm just at the moment. I've just got into making beats again because I didn't have a computer for a while. I tried something else and it backfired, so I didn't have a computer. But now
Oh,
I'm back into it. I've had
okay,
my computer for about a week now. Yeah,
okay.
roughly, and I've made 7 beats so
Oh,
far. I've just like kept them to one side. I want to get a little pile and then just show everyone and
def-
see what people are thinking.
definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, I've just been getting back into it, Nary, and literally after this show, I'm probably going to listen to Man United. They're playing shortly, and then after that, I'm going to be making beats for the rest of the day.
Dope, man. Definitely keep at it, man. Cause
Yeah.
you got some good work too, man.
Oh man,
Definitely, like, yes, yes.
oh man, like some of my favorite tracks I've done so far are on Illnesses. Oh, Inner Beast.
Oh man, Inner Beast. That's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, you've got a track on there as well, man. But
Yep.
like
I think Barfair.
yes, that's it, Bar Affair.
Yes.
Some of
Yeah.
Yes.
my best
Yo.
work I
Yes.
feel is on that album.
Yes.
There's a few tracks on there that I just think these are my best ones.
Oh man.
Definitely.
There's just shout out the illness again, man. We got
Yes, shout out Illness, man.
one of my
He
favorite
just,
records. One of my favorite records I've done with illness is called Clarity.
oh yeah, that's another classic. That
Yes,
is.
one of my favorite ones. And I think that day, man, that the sample to that is really like it has like an airy thing, and it man,
Yes.
like, it makes you think like when you listen to
Yeah.
the original song. And I chopped that up, man, and I put the drums to it. I was like, man, this is it.
The
As soon as I
title
see,
the title of the track and the whole, theme of the track goes perfectly with the sounds you hear.
perfect
Do you know
and
what I mean?
the way illness approached it, man, I was
Yeah.
like, man,
He
he
told me
approached it.
about he actually told me that he was listening to that track. I remember the story. And he was sat in his car. His wife had just gone into the shop, and he just
Yep.
went into. He was thinking. He went away with the fairies, and it was like a moment of clarity, and that's where that song come from. I
Yeah.
Did you
remember him
just say he
telling me
went away
about.
with the fairies? Is that what you
No,
said?
no, yeah, like he was thinking. He like just went away. He was
Okay.
thinking about life, just thinking
Uh,
about life, and
Okay. I'd
like
never heard it called that
when you
before,
sat
so
in
that's
a
why I
car,
was like, yo,
you
yo, what
sat
the
in a
fuck
car
did you
and then
just
you just
say?
start waiting for someone. He's waiting for Siobhan to get back in the car, and he was just thinking about life. And that's where the name of the
I
track comes
understand now. Thank you
Yeah,
for putting that into context for me.
No, I
I
always
didn't know what
remember.
the fuck you were talking about, bro.
Yeah, Nary talking about that track. I always remember Illness telling me about the story about how that track came together. It's
Yeah.
just stuck in my head. It's a great track.
Oh
That's
wow, that's too funny. That's too
beautiful.
funny.
But no,
Beautiful.
just picturing how Illness created that track, and just picturing the scene of him sat in the car waiting for his wife, and that's how the song came about.
I got a question. I got a question on that track. Do the fairies get executive producer on that?
Yeah,
Oh
Oh
man.
shit!
you make this pop
All right,
work.
we're starting to go a little off the rails. I think it's about
Yeah.
time that Nary go get some food. I gotta go smoke me something.
I've
Something
got
that
to
way
watch
maybe
Man
I could
United
go.
losing on the game.
Maybe I'll go visit the fairies. I don't know. And
Maybe I should instead of watching the football because I know my team's going to do shit.
we'll see what happens.
Oh man.
Good luck to Man U today. Good
Thank
luck to
you.
them today.
Definitely.
But hey, Nary, no, like for real, bro. On behalf of myself and Discreet and everybody that opened that door with us now, live today or in the future when they watch this, we appreciate you opening that door with us, bro. Having a conversation, the exclusives you dropped with us, an individual who, again, we said at the top of the show, like literally, like if there were a picture for hip hop culture in the dictionary, it
Definitely.
would be Nary.
Nary would be
It would
there.
be Nary, like hands down, bro. And I ain't just saying that because
Thank
you're on
y'all.
this now. I'll say that to fucking anybody, bro, because you do have you have a passion and an
Definitely.
appreciation and a true foundation of what the hip hop culture is really all about, and that is always shown through your music.
Definitely.
Whenever I listen to it, so I appreciate that about you, Nary, not just as a producer, but as a fucking human being, dude.
Yeah.
Like facts, bro. Like for real. So we are definitely doing some
brother.
work this year. I'm looking forward to it, especially with where I'm at. It's like the timing had to be right because I think I'm in a place where I'm ready to receive the blessing of a Nary DaProducer beat and production.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get there and we're gonna do that soon. So any final thoughts that you want to give before we go ahead and sign off to anybody here today?
I just want to let everybody know, man. You want to do this music, you could do it. You know, do it, but do it for you.
And it.
Do it for you. Do it for the love. Do it for your passion. Do it. You know, don't do this as you want to make money first because, like I said, you're gonna have a lot of heartbreaks. And don't give up. Do it, and that goes with anything because this can be a reality. You know. And I want to shout out. We outside. Appreciate y'all
Yeah.
having me, man. It was
Thank you, Nary.
definitely beautiful conversations, man. Definitely the love, man. I appreciate you guys always, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to my city, Pittsburgh. Love y'all,
And
man. My guys, like I said, man. Loke, Lady Lim, G Dub, Shiz, my little cousin, Finesse, Dez, FGS Dez, Tato. Man, shout out to Gotti Boy, Gutter. Man, shout out to shout out to my whole city, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to North Carolina, bro, B-Town, Greensboro, everybody down there. I was rocking with that started me. Shout out to them.
awesome.
Shout out to everybody that's watching. Man, we outside now. I'm about to go inside.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nary, we appreciate it. Yo, anybody that wants to follow Nary, he's on Instagram, he's on Facebook, anywhere else that they can find him. I know you're on TikTok. I know you got a YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken, out there. Anywhere else that they might be able to find you outside of your regular social places where people can go find you.
For everybody, I'm doing this thing. I'm going to be strictly on Bandcamp. There's not going to be no streams or anything. We're taking this back to the roots. You know what I'm saying? If you want the physical downloads, you'll have them. You know, I'm gonna have the merchandise soon. Oh yeah, and I'm glad you did, you know, have me do this because I got a drum kit coming out. I'm gonna be selling it.
Awesome.
Yes, my sounds. I'm making everything from scratch. I'm gonna have I'm gonna chop a couple samples up for y'all on this one.
Oh man, I might be interested in that.
Oh yes, and it's gonna be $5 for the whole drum kit.
I like
Oh,
that.
Everything's gonna be made from the MPC, and all my sounds that I use, my analog, my digital, everything's gonna be in that pack. So look out for that.
I'm having one. I'm
Everything
gonna buy one.
Everything's going to be on
Got it.
Bandcamp now with me. Check out my Bandcamp. Winter Souls out right now. My beat tape, my latest one. Everything exclusively only is going on Bandcamp.
Awesome.
Love it. Love that. Love that. Nary, we appreciate you, bro, taking the time with us today. You have a beautiful rest of your day. We're definitely going to talk. And Discreet, good luck to you on your football game today.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Don't be with too many of the fairies today, brother.
Yeah.
On that note, it is time to close the door. Yo, everybody have a beautiful day. Yo, we will catch up soon. Y'all be good.
Thank you, Nary. Cheers, man.